I work for the city of Denver, and I work on a project that's called the Denver Energy Challenge, and it's a grant-funded program. And the whole goal, so the whole goal of our program is to make it really easy for Denver residents to reduce the amount of energy that they consume in their houses, and then also just to lower your costs as well, and make your homes more comfortable as well. And so this is the prime season. It's when everybody really kind of starts thinking about it, and it's fantastic that you guys organize this and have all of these like hands-on examples and things. I usually have a PowerPoint, and this is just incredible to be able to do this. And so a couple of things we normally add, just a couple of things. His was amazing, and he said way more than we usually do, but we also add sometimes just a couple of behavior changes that you can do as well, and just simple, they're free. And just things, like the silly ones like turning off lights, when you're not in the room. Or if you're like me, I have a 7-year-old stepson who definitely doesn't remember to turn off the lights all of the time. So things we've considered are even like motion sensors in certain places where it might make sense, or you might kind of forget that. It makes sense in some places, but some other things, programmable thermostats. I don't know if you've all seen, they have a whole bunch of different kinds out there, but they have some really like the smart thermostats right now, like Nest. They're really kind of cool looking. You can actually use them from your smartphone. So if you're away and you realize, oh my gosh, I left the heat cranked up all the way because it was cold this morning, you can actually control it from your smartphone. So you can turn the temperature down. And with those, if you don't have one and you're interested in them, Excel right now has a rebate program. And so you can go on their website, and it's an instant rebate, and you can actually get it through them. And I think it cuts down like $50 or something on one of those. So it's a really good deal. It's worth looking into. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be going, but it's a great time for it. So that's another one. Something else too that people talk about is with your hot water heater. A lot of times people crank the heat up all the way on their hot water heaters, and it doesn't need to be that high. You also want to be careful though, because you don't want it to get too low, because it can cause some kind of health concerns as well. So they say to keep it above 122 degrees, but it doesn't necessarily have to be all the way up. So I think those are the main things. And then the other thing too is just to use your passive heating and cooling. I live in a house, it was built in 1890, so it's definitely not an efficient house. And it has a little building it's almost like a lean-to that they built on the back of it, where you kind of have laundry and things like that. And it just leaks like a sieve. We need to do a lot of work to it. But it's great because it faces south. This time of year, it has big windows back there, and we just leave the blinds open. And it's that, just the passive heating that we get back there is incredible. In the summertime, we just close the blinds on it, and it ends up keeping it nice and cool. So there's some little things you can just kind of think about in some of those rooms that are your south-facing windows as well. So we talk about those, and then all of these incredible things that you can do that Dave talked about. And then kind of beyond that, some of the things that we talk about also as far as insulation, you touched on that. It's called an R value in insulation, and that's the resistance value and the level of insulation. And it's different really in different parts of the country. In Colorado, they really look for the insulation in your attic to be about 38, around there. And so that's something that you can just kind of keep in mind as you're moving forward if you're looking to, put new insulation in, things like that. And there are a whole bunch of different kinds too. There's the cellulose, there's the pink stuff, the Pink Panther pink stuff. And then there are new kinds too. There's like recycled denim that's really cool, where they take old jeans and shred it up and they make that into insulation also. So there are a lot of different varieties out there that you can kind of keep in mind if you're replacing insulation. And then another thing with insulation too, I was in a crawl space recently, and we were doing one of these audits and kind of looking around and realized that the insulation had actually fallen down. And so between your unconditioned and conditioned spaces, you just want to make sure that your insulation is really snug. Because if it's starting to kind of fall down like that and expose those surfaces, it defeats the purpose of it. Because that cold air is getting up there, it's making contact with that surface and then just radiating through. So just something that you can think about is just kind of looking in your attic, looking in your crawl space, and just making sure that it's all snug and happy in there. So along those are kind of the general things that we talk about. Moving on appliances, you don't need to go out and replace all of your appliances at all. If you do happen to have appliances that kind of peter out on you, or you're looking to replace some of them, I think just about everything is Energy Star these days. That's an EPA program, and it really just assures that appliances are going to be energy efficient. So always look for that Energy Star logo when you're doing that. And if you are thinking about replacing some, just think about which ones you use the most. For most people, it's your refrigerator. It runs 24 hours a day, and it can be a big suck on your energy. And if you're like my parents also, they have an extra refrigerator. It's their old refrigerator, and they stuck it in their garage. And they had it in there and couldn't figure out why their energy bills were so high. Granted, they live in Phoenix too, so the garage is really hot. but it was running all the time, and it wasn't necessarily full. Once they figured it out and unplugged it, their energy bills went down quite a bit. Times like this with the holidays coming up, they use it, and it's great. It's kind of overflow. They can do that, but for the majority of the time, they just keep it unplugged. That seems to work pretty well for them. And then moving on beyond that, so solar. Like if you're kind of interested in kind of taking this to the next level and looking at solar, what we recommend is that you go through your house and kind of do everything possible to lower your energy consumption first, because they're going to size your solar array based on how much energy you're using currently. So definitely go through, get as efficient as possible, and kind of whittle that down. And then once you do that, hopefully you'll pay less for your solar panels too. And on that note, also, just as an aside, the city right now has a deal. We've been kind of looking at some of these different things that might cause like a barrier basically for people that might be interested in renewables. And one of the things that we did was we worked with some surrounding counties, so Boulder County and Adams County, and we went in and did a bulk purchase. And we did it on two different things. We did it on rooftop solar panels, and we also did it on electric vehicles. And I have more information about that I can hand out to you guys if anybody's interested in either one of them. But the benefit of doing that is that it actually brought the cost down. So we put out an RFP, got a bunch of bids back from different vendors, and we chose Sunrun for the solar, and they're offering a really high efficiency panel, which is pretty cool. And they can come out, they'll take a look at your house, and just see if it even makes sense for you, given your energy bills and your solar orientation and all of that. And then for the car, Boulder Nissan was the one who won that one, and it's pretty incredible. If you're looking to buy an electric vehicle, this is a really good time for it. They've already sold over 150 of them in 2 months because of this deal. And what it does is basically after you have federal rebates, and then you also have state rebates. And then on top of it, they have an extra discount. So a brand new Nissan Leaf that's usually about $31,000 is now about $12,000. So you can purchase or lease. So it's a good deal with the rebates regardless, but then with this on top of it, it really brings that cost down. So I don't get any commission. It has nothing to do with me at all, but it's one of those things that it's been really cool just to see people kind of on an uptake with all of these. And there are a lot more charging stations around and things like that too. So just something to keep in mind. So there's that piece. And then after kind of discussing all of that, just our program, the Denver Energy Challenge, and kind of who we are and what we do. So I think I mentioned that our goal is really just to break down the barriers, make it as easy as possible for all of you to make some of these changes and retrofit your house. And also just figure out where to start. It can be really daunting. I think, I automatically, the first place that my mind goes sometimes is like, oh shoot, I have to replace my windows. And that's going to be really expensive, and it's not in the budget. And as we saw today, there are so many other things that you can do. And what we do is if you decide that you want to enroll your home in the Denver Energy Challenge, you just call us, and we have 2 advisors, Reed and Robert. They're both really fantastic. And you contact them, and you can either have them come out to your house for an hour, or you can have a consultation over the phone. And they'll ask you a series of questions. They'll go through, they'll look at all of your appliances, they'll yeah, just look at a whole series of different things in your home, and then they'll come up with a detailed report that's tailored to you and to your home and to your goals. So if your goals, maybe you have one room that's really cold, they can talk about that. If it's cost savings, they can address that. So they're really just there to be an expert resource for you all, and just to make it as easy as possible. And then on top of that, if you decide that some of the work that you choose to do requires a contractor, through the program, we have a list of vetted contractors that people have worked with in the past and who you can recommend with confidence, just so that you don't have to do that legwork. They can also help you schedule the contractors, they can help you review bids, and just take a lot of that guesswork out of it just to make it a lot easier. And then finally, through the program also, this is all funded through our grant funding. And so they put in some seed money for low interest loans. So any project that's going to be upgrading your energy, you're eligible for these low interest loans, and they're through the Elevations Credit Union that's based out of Boulder. The reason that there are these Boulder contacts and kind of connections is that they have a sister program up there, and so we work together a lot on a lot of these. But with that, it starts at 2.75%, and it's a really good deal. So if it's something that you want to do some of this work, you can't necessarily pay for it all up front. That's just another resource that you have. So yeah, and I guess one other thing also that Dave touched upon is Excel. And they have a lot of really great resources. If you go on their website, they have a bunch of rebates and a lot of information on there and just things, and they change them out constantly too. Like right now, there's a lot on LEDs. I actually brought LED light bulbs for all of you guys. Thanks to Excel, I know, it's great. So you can try them out. Try them in, the light that you use the most, and just see what you think. And then, if you like them, maybe you can think about changing them out over time. But they have those, and then they can also, if you want a more detailed report, like what Dave was talking about, where they actually have like the camera, and they can shoot at your house and figure out, where a lot of your heat is escaping. They can do an energy audit. And there are different auditors, but there are some that actually you can get a rebate from Excel, and it'll cut the cost down for you to have that done. And they'll do several different tests. One of them is a blower door. It's pretty cool. They actually put it kind of over your front door, and it has a fan that sucks all of the air out of your house. And so you can tell where air is leaking and getting into your house. So then you know where to caulk, and you know how to kind of seal up your house a little bit better. And they do the same thing for your ductwork. So they have a series of tests. It takes 3 to 4 hours usually to do that. With the rebate, it's usually around $185 to have that done. And you don't have to by any means, but at the end of the day, you come out with a really thick, really detailed report. You can give to a contractor, and you know exactly what the scope of work is. So it just kind of takes the guesswork out. The Denver Energy Challenge is totally free, on the other hand. So that's something, you have these guys at your disposal. You can call them anytime. You don't have to do any work at all. You can just say, hey, I'm interested. I want to, see what's going on, or I have these questions with my house. And they're there 5 days a week, regular business hours, there to help you. So yeah, so pretty much that's who we are. That's kind of what we do. Right now, we're actually kind of doing a special thing for the holidays that anyone who signs up between now and December 1st, we're going to have a little raffle for those folks, and whoever wins gets their house professionally decorated. And so we're working with a contractor, and it's going to be all LEDs, and they'll put them up for you, they'll take them down for you. It's pretty cool. And then I think starting in December, we're going to do something, I think, with the zoo actually. And so we're going to say which of the first 20 households that sign up.
Still send them around my neighborhood, they still won't stand a chance.
They won't, no, this is, no, he let me know this is not going to be like award winning, but we could definitely supplement what they do if you don't want to climb up on your roof. so anyhow,
How do you sign up?
How do you sign up? So I have a couple of different things for you guys that I'll pass out. You just basically either call them or go on the website, give them your information, and you can talk to them. And they're truly like the nicest guys. I went and shadowed on some of these audits, and they're really knowledgeable and just really easy to work with. So we shot light bulbs, they've gone all the way and done everything. And on average, households are saving about 23% on their energy bills. So that's pretty significant.
Oh, you mean by using the energy challenge and having an audit done, you can save over 20%?
Well, yeah, they had the audit done and then they found out what they could do. And by making some changes, and it's totally up to you what changes you decide to make. You don't have to do anything. But on average, we keep a lot of data. And yeah, on average, people are saving 23% on their energy bills. So yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, now I realize that I kind of skipped over something in my brain, so may I ask you something you already shared? You were talking about the low interest loans. And I'm not sure exactly what those are applicable for, and I'm wondering if those can be used for the solar panels.
They can. Yep, they can, although you'll find Sunrun, they actually have their own financing, and I think it may even be better than that. So for whatever it's worth, I think you'll have a couple of different options if you decide to go with that. Yeah.
You're talking about behavior changes. Do you know what kind of difference it makes turning a thermostat down at night? Or like with a smart thermostat or something?
You can programmable thermostats. I forgot to bring one. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and do you know what the savings is through those? Is it like 10%?
It's, it all depends upon how much you adjust it. But either that or, people who work all day long and are gone out of their house, there's no point in having your house, 72 degrees if you're not there. So, we've got
too, right? Because you don't want to go too low and have too high of a set
right.
point.
Well, you definitely want to never ever get it anywhere near the point where it would encourage the pipes in your walls to freeze, because then you're looking at a lot of money. But you could literally let it drop to 55 in your house while you're not there, and it wouldn't take that long to recover for your furnace to recover. And we have programmable thermostats that are just easy wall mount digital ones. We also have some amazing thermostats that you can download an app and hook it up to your thermostat, and if you have wireless Wi-Fi in your home, you can control your thermostat from your phone no matter where you are on the planet.
You want to get super nerdy, there's now LED lights that can filter your phone.
That's awesome.
So LED light senses when you get close to your house and they'll turn your light off. Yeah.
That's amazing.
There's smart LED lights now too. It's really pretty cool.
It's like the Jetsons.
You really
Yeah.
That's why she got
Honestly.
Great. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you so much for having
Thank
us.
you.
And thank you for $140.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We
We can sell for that, actually.
And we can all spend it at Ace Hardware,
Yeah.
Jewel, and get even more LED light bulbs. So it's a gift that keeps on giving. So thank you to each and every one of you who came out. Much appreciated, Dave and Susan. Thank you guys again.